Well, welcome back. We're starting the second session here of this installment of Stephen Follows Instructions on building an OERu course site with a bunch of stuff. What stuff? Well, WordPress and so on and so forth. On Ubuntu using Docker Compose. So, utterly nobody watched part one while it was live. I guess we had 4 views after it was live, almost making it not worth tweeting again, but I will. So I'll just get the URL for it, and then on Ubuntu using Docker Compose. Tweet. So. And I'll copy this. Nobody watched part 1 while it was live. Put that in here. After it was live, almost making it not worth starting in part 2 of live stream. URL for it. All right. So again, probably nobody will watch this, but that's okay. That's, it's not the purpose. Isn't to have a whole bunch of people watch this. The purpose is mostly to have a record of it, and having the record of it helps the people who created the instructions in the first place, and helps people who are using the instructions to do the same thing themselves. It helps them very slowly, but anyhow. And as well, part of the purpose too of this for me, and again, I'm always looking over here thinking I'm looking at the camera, but I'm not. A big part of the purpose for me is also to give people an insight into how I go about problem solving and working through these kind of instructions. Now it's just me. It's not the whole world. But, I think there's value in that. And maybe one day a really smart AI will analyze it and say, okay, this is the problem solving approach that Stephen Downes used. And I'll get credit for this because so few people have done this. I'll be one of the few people that the AIs can use, at least in the early days, which is when all the classics are created. Anyhow, okay, let's go back to, I'll just check these notifications. Okay, so let's go right back to where we were, and where we were was creating users for our database. So here we had the super wide version of our console. So I'll make that narrow again, and I'll also narrow the instructions so we can have them side by side here. And so there we go. And so that's often a good way of doing things. Aborted. Oh no, then never mind. That wasn't aborted. So, if you may recall, the way we got into this console, we were in the DigitalOcean application here, and we created a droplet. And then I was trying to figure out, how do I get into the console, or how do I SSH into the server? And I just clicked on console, and it popped open the console window for us. That was beautiful, and I really liked that. Also, I will add on Reclaim as well, Reclaim Cloud. You can also do the same thing. It's not presented in exactly the same way, but there's a web-based console to allow you to access your cloud-based server. And again, it's much easier than using some SSH application to get into it. And basically, it's all I ever use. All right, so I'm in my console, which I opened by clicking on console here. And in the instructions, I was at creating user. I had created this second user, and now that I've created these two users, they're really the same user, but one of them is at localhost and the other one is at %. I still don't know what the % means, and I don't know how to figure it out because you can't search on a %. So I don't know. I don't know how to find out what that means. Someone out there knows, but I don't know. Okay, so now we're going to grant permissions. So grant all, what that means is grant all permissions on whatever basically all of our tables in our particular database. No, I don't know. I think I'm granting permissions to our user to do everything to everything. It's really not clear, but anyhow, so be careful with these passwords, unlike what I've been. Not that there's any big worry, because who's been watching this video? No one. Okay, so, and with grant option allows this user to grant privileges in turn. So I've done that. Grant not found. Why not? Because I'm not in MySQL. MySQL. Alright, and now I'll paste that command in, and I'll have to type the username in again. So, with grant option allows this user, there we go. Alright, again it's saying 0 rows affected, and I know that can't be right. Okay, and we'll do this second granting of permissions. Paste. And we'll have to put the username in, which again is Downs. Type the username in again. And flush privileges. There we go. Which basically resets all the privileges and actually implements the commands that I've just put in. Alright. So this creates two users with the same credentials that will allow you to log in either from the same server, localhost, or from any of the Docker containers, namely the wildcard percentage. Remember, yeah, and this is important, if you change the user's details, you'll have to do it for both. And of course, I have two different passwords, and I'll go back and I'll change those passwords as well at a later time and probably make them the same. Alright, tweak the configuration so that it's listening on the right internal network device. Namely the wildcard percentage. Okay. Remember, yeah, and this is important, if you change the user's okay, I see. Alright, so we're going to edit this database configuration file. So he doesn't tell us, but we'll exit. Exit MySQL or Maria database, and then he skips steps, right? If you were just following this literally, you'd be just horribly lost. Okay, so now we're going to edit using Nano this configuration file. So we've seen editing using Nano before, and we know that it works. So here's the configuration file. So what do we want to do? We want MariaDB to be listening to on all interfaces, not just localhost, which is 127.0.0.1. So bind address, we're going to make it 0.0.0.0. Okay. So we need to find it. Oh, there it is. So, oops. So let me just make this bigger again. So there it is in our file. So we're going to comment this out, and then we'll type in bind address. I'm just using the tab here. and then the new address 0.0.0.0. I think the tab is okay, and then restart MariaDB. Okay, so of course what he's not saying is that we need to Control X to exit this file and save it. All right, and now to restart, and I wonder if this will work. Might not. These restart options very often, what you see in the documentation, isn't what works in practice. And then restart MariaDB. Okay, so very often. Okay. We need to Control X to exit. Well, I guess it worked. It's not going to give me any information. Just curious to see if anyone's watching. Nobody's watching. But I'll just move this over so that if somebody jumps into the chat, I think nobody's watching. Playbacks too. Okay. I don't know how you can have playbacks without anybody watching, but all right. Average watch time 3 seconds. All right. You know, people aren't giving you a fair shot. Oh, and why am I getting desktop audio? Ooh, that's not good. That's definitely not good. I don't know how you can have playbacks without anybody watching. Let's see. All right, average watch time 3 seconds. All right. Okay, I'm hearing myself and I shouldn't be. People aren't giving you a fair shot. Oh, and why am I getting desktop audio? Ooh, that's not good. That must be it there. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So, sorry about that. I hope it wasn't too confusing. So, yeah, I had the thing running in the background while I was doing this. So, just to recap, I granted these permissions and then I restarted MySQL, the Maria database. And that's it. And I talked an awful lot. So, sorry about that. So, and what's the time in? So, we had this stupid sound error running. For 12 minutes. Okay, I'll have to put that into the description. Echoey sound ends after 12 minutes. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Good thing I checked. Oh, that doesn't get any bigger. That's why. All right. So I've restarted MySQL. Now, okay, now set up the database, which will hold it. So, okay. Remember when we first started created the MySQL back up above? Right. Here, okay. This is when we would have used the command MySQL. Where'd it go? This MySQL U root P. Okay, this means MySQL U is the user root, P means I'm using a password, and it'll ask for a password. Now, as it says, if you created this my.cnf file in your home directory as I did above, we won't need to enter username and password. So why are you telling me this? Why are you saying use this now? Be consistent, right? Be consistent. What you want us to type is MySQL. I think. We'll find out if we can do this. So, Now we're going to create the database name, and we don't know what the database name is yet, so I'll just pick one. So paste, and database name, we're going to call it Ethics, Analytics, Duty of Care, the MOOC, EADCM. Okay. And a row is affected. It's about time. Okay, so now, and we're going to go back to this file. Okay. Database name. Okay. So, all right. The database root password, all of that's hidden in that file, so we don't need to use it. Your database, okay. So, all right, well, let's come back now to here. Now we're going to create the user in the database, and it's a new user. A new user. Okay. So there's the thingy. So let's give them, there's the user, and we'll give them the password. I don't know how secure that is, but whatever. Again, I'll change these after. Or I might just wipe the whole site. Who knows, right? So, okay, so we're creating user. Okay, now let's come back here. So, see, this is confusing now. Okay, database. See, we've created a bunch of different users. So the actual, so I think these are MySQL users. Let's call them that. See, this isn't organized the way the instructions are organized. That's why it's confusing. So, oops. All right, so I'll put those in. MySQL user. MySQL password. Unless they're the same. But I seem to be creating this user. And they can't be the same, because why would we create the user twice? You can't create a user twice. So I'm trying to indent this now. Hang on, I'll have to expand this. Indent. Okay, now I'll close this. So this fact sheet is inconsistent with the instructions. So it's not a terrible thing, but you know. So I've created the database user, EADCM at %, and I've given that user a password. There it is. And let's put this in here. And let's close. Okay. All right. So and then the database root password is whatever I put into that file, which I won't tell you because I don't want to. All right, good enough. So let's go back to the instructions. So it's a little unclear there, but as long as we keep track of what we're doing, we should be fine. All right. Okay, we did that. All right, so we created our user, created our database user, grant all on database name to database user. Okay, so that's actually going to give it the privileges that it needs. So grant all on database name, EADCM. So that's the database name, and then this dot star means all tables, and then to the user, which I just called EADCM because I have no imagination. DCM at percentage sign. So let's hit that. Flush privileges. No D in privileges. Semicolon. Whoops. There we go. Okay. To exit the SQL client, just type \Q and enter. Well, I've done various things. I've hit Control C. I've hit exit. Let's see if this works. Yep. Okay. All right, so our database is set up. Now, sending emails. We encourage you to follow our instructions on how to oh, and this is a whole separate thing. Oh, no. Wow. How long is it? All right, so does he want us to do it here? Yeah. It's useful to make sure it can send. I would have, well, yeah, 6.5 doesn't know the other. All right, so here we are. Configuring a Linux server to send email via the Postfix SMTP Simple Mail Transport Protocol server using an external authenticated SMTP host. Tricky, tricky, tricky. It is non-trivial to set up a mail server properly. And yet, I know that I'm going to need it because I'm going to later on. Now, this is a problem I've run into with some of these other instruction sets. Is you need to, like when you're signing into the service for the first time, like signing into WordPress, it may do an email authentication. But it needs to send an email to do an email authentication. And if your system can't serve email, that's a problem. Okay. So, at OERu, we use the Docker-based installation of the amazing, completely FOSS MailCal. Okay. So, assuming that we have a MailCal server, the only tricky part. So we have to have a functionally equivalent SMTP service available. So I do have, well, sort of a functionally equivalent. Thing is, I use Google Mail for my mail these days, and you can't use Google Mail for this. I've tried. Let's skip the email and just hope things work, because this is a big problem. All right, so regular, if we have to, we'll come back to that and try to work our way through it, but I'm betting we can't. Okay, sudo apt get install. So this is the automatic MySQL backup, and so that's easy enough. Oh. Postfix configuration. So in the next line, or in the next instruction, we need to select the mail configuration. Let's just try internet site and see what happens. System mail name. Is the domain name used to qualify all mail addresses without a mail name. To and from root. So it should be the single fully qualified domain name. Alright, so eadcm.mooc.ca. Oh, and it's setting up Postfix for me. Postfix is an email program. So, and you access it, or at least you used to be able to access it with SendMail. And all right. See, if it wasn't there, I'd just get that. But SendMail is a command. So, and actually, let's test this. So let's see now, because I think it's all on the command line here, right? All right. So send mail from the command line. Oh. No, let's just look up send mail thing. There's a bit of a digression, but send mail. How do I use send mail? Yeah. All right, so send mail, and now I'm going to mail it to myself. All right, and now I put in all of this stuff. So to, from, subject, and then the body follows the subject. So I'll paste all of that, and then Control D. Now, that should have sent me mail. Let's see if SendMail is working. Let's go to my email, and I don't see it. Oh, it might be a few seconds before it comes. Or it might have gone directly into spam. Um, I don't know. That should have worked. Oh, no, right. Okay. Never mind. I tried to send it to a different. Let's try that again. SendMail. And then put all of this in. Oh, wait. We'll put. To Stephen@downs.ca from root at subject Control D. Now, maybe this will work. It probably won't work. There's probably something I'm missing. Yeah, it's not working. So maybe it's being blocked by a firewall. Maybe it's being blocked by my system. I should check in my spam just in case. I need to find my spam folder. Conferences, all of this. It doesn't seem to be available. I'll have to go to Google Mail itself. I use Thunderbird as my mail client, but it's connected to Google Mail, Gmail, and there's a bit of a difference in the interfaces. So let's see if I can't find missing message notification. No thanks. They always, all these applications try to give you notifications, right? So where's spam? Should be in here somewhere. And this whole this chat business, which is new, and rooms, this is garbage. I don't want any of this. I just want mail in my mail program. And I want to find my spam now. Where's my spam? There it is. Spam. Nope, it's not in spam. So I don't know. I don't know where it went. All I know is it installed Postfix, and maybe I have to set up some configuration for it. Right. Let's see. Test Postfix to see if it's sending mail. How to test SendMail. Okay. Google is your friend. Always use Google for this sort of stuff. Okay. How to install Postfix and SendMail. Alright, if you want to send a simple test mail, try SSMTP or MSMTP. Okay. Or I might have actually done I might have tested it incorrectly. Paste. So nothing. I wonder if it arrived. Nothing yet. Okay. So let's go back to where it says Oh. For Ubuntu users, you need to first install mail utilities. Okay, let's do that. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here, folks. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying stuff until something sticks. Yeah, sure, why not? All right. Okay. I love this. There are few additional security related configurations which you need to be done on Gmail. So to send mail from Gmail, you need to turn on access for less secure apps. Maybe we won't do that. Although it seems to me I tried that before. Alright. Now let's try. Yeah, I don't see anything. Okay. I wonder where the SendMail error log is, because that might tell me. Okay, it might be in var log somewhere. All right, so let's look for the error log, see if there's anything. Var log, and do we see anything related to mail in there? Mail log, okay. Mail.log. Oh, look at this. The host So this is Google bouncing these. Isn't that interesting? So that seems to be what's happening here, right? If you look at this, so September 7, 2100, which is UTC, because I haven't bothered to change the time on my server. So here's the email that I just tried to send, and this is the host that I tried to send it to, which said to me, our system has detected an unusual rate of unsolicited email originating from your IP address, which is probably not true, but it could be true, right? So it's blocking it. So this IP address has been used previously by someone, who knows who, and it blocked it. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do here I'll try to send it to my work account. Alright, now let's look at the error. The mail log should be right at the end. There we go. status deferred. Please try again later. So it wasn't blocked. I'm just going to quickly switch over. You won't be able to see this, but you'll still be able to see me, and the screen will probably just look the same. I'll be actually on a different screen. So popping over. Now I'm in my NRC account. And like I say, you probably can't tell. You can't see anything. So I wouldn't think you can see anything. Boy, what a data leak that would be if you could, eh? Yeah. So I'm just opening up my NRC email, and nope, it's not here either. Okay. All right. So let's flip back. So I don't know. It's delayed. Anyhow, the main thing is I was able to get past that step. So let's ignore this. Again, deferring the problem. Email is, yeah, a non-trivial subject. All right. So, and it didn't show up in my spam. It didn't even qualify as spam. How about that? All right, so back to our instructions. So here we are. Is this? Yeah. So, all right. So, automatic MySQL backup installed Postfix for me, but Postfix doesn't work, or it does work, but you know, just using it on the plain domain like this with the DigitalOcean IP address is recognized as a spammy IP address, so probably wisely. And really, and that's why this thing here, what you need to do is route it through a known reliable email sender, like I would route it through downs.ca or something like that. These guys have whatever they called it. I forget what they called it, but they have something else. So, but I love this, right? Yeah, we'll just assume that you have MailCow. Yeah. All right, setting up Docker and Docker. So this is all probably not going to work now. Set up Docker support on your server. Also, follow the complete instructions. No, not also. Or follow the complete instructions. Not also. Or. Okay. So the way I prefer to implement this set of containers is to use Docker Compose. Okay. So why am I installing Python? Okay. Of the options, I usually use the alternative instructions employing the pip. Okay. Install Docker. Well, all I did there is I clicked on the link. Okay, the install old versions. There probably are not any old versions. So I'm going to narrow this again. All right. Oh, crap. There we go. Put that back over there. Get my console window open and okay. So yeah, okay, so there are no old versions. Next. Stuff. Okay. stuff. Installation methods. You can install Docker Engine in different ways. Most users set up Docker's repositories and install from them. Or some users download the deb package and install it manually. Right? Which is what you need to do if you don't have internet connections. Some people use automated convenience scripts. All right. None of these mentions Python or pip. All right. So let's do it the recommended way. Sudo apt-get update. We did this just a few minutes ago, but we'll do it again because let's be complete. Oh, well, there was one thing that needed to be updated. All right. Now, we're going to install all of this stuff. So, install, well, yeah, 4 or 5 different things. All right. Yes. So we're installing curl, certificates, apt transport. All right. Curl's kind of cool because if you do something like this, or let's do it properly. Right. Whee! There's my web page. It just retrieves the web page for me. Pretty cool, right? And it's fast. But all right. And Docker's official CPG key. All right. Curl. Okay, maybe I better, if I'm going to download something, let's go into my root directory. You see that little tilde? Whatever user I am, it'll go into my home directory. So I went into the root directory, and now I'm going to download this thing. All right. So now what? Oh, there might have been more to that command. Yes, there was. All right. Tricky. Whoops, and I still didn't get the whole thing. All right, so I got it, and now I need to output it to this file name, basically. So let's try that again. Hit enter, and if we go to this user share key rings file location, we will see this. And in fact, let's just do that. cd user share key rings and ls, and there's actually a bunch of them, but there's the one that we just saved. Docker archive, droplet agent. This is some stuff from DigitalOcean. Yes, a bunch of stuff. And I don't know anything about key rings, so this is new to me, but this is a good idea, because I think basically what this will do, it puts this big block here, and then it tests any download against that block to ensure the integrity of the download. All right. Using the following commands to set up the stable repository, which we want to do. Okay, let's make this wide so we know what we're doing here. Use the following command to set up the stable repository. Echo deb Yeah, I see there's the signed by. The architecture, I don't know what my architecture is. Well, x86 64 or AMD 64, it's almost certainly going to be one of those two. So we'll just copy this. If you have a different architecture, you probably know what it is. But if you don't, it's probably this. Alright, so let's paste that and hit enter. Presumably it did that. Again, we don't know, because we didn't get any real response. So let's just hope. Install Docker engine. Okay, so sudo apt-get update. Again, this is the third time today we've done that. Next, sudo, this is the important line right here. We're going to install the Docker application. You know, that guy on Mastodon telling me, oh, they charge you money, they charge you money. I don't see any money being charged here. I'm just saying. Maybe they charge you for something. Alright, so it's installing Docker, basically. And then verify that Docker engine is installed correctly by running the hello world image. When the container runs, it prints a message and exits. Okay, so we'll copy that. Alright. So it's done all of that. So let's paste. Pulling it. Very good. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. Awesome. All right. So we have installed Docker. Let's go back now to the instructions. Okay, the way I prefer to implement this set of containers is to use Docker Compose. Okay, Docker Compose. See, I still have utterly no idea using use the latest installation instructions provided by the Docker community. Okay. Common use cases, blah, blah, blah. Let's find install compose. Here we go. Okay. All right, here we go. Follow the instructions below. Or alternatively, find out about alternatives like using the pip Python package manager or installing Compose as a container. We don't want to install it as a container, I don't think. Okay. Well, I don't know why. I have no clue why he uses Python and pip. Personally, I've had nothing but bad experiences with Python and pip, but a lot of people make it work, so okay. Especially, it's outdated. Like, okay, so let's do what he does. First, he installs the outdated thing. All right. Why? I don't know. But, okay. Yes. Boy, there's a lot. %, and has it died? Don't stop at 99%. Okay. Use the Ubuntu instance called pip3 to install the latest Python pip. I don't know why we can't just install it directly, but again. Is this going to work? Already satisfied. So maybe were options or alternatives. I don't know. And then finally install the Docker Compose script. So something kind of weird there. I don't know. Again, he seems to say also instead of or, so or just nothing, right? So this might be a choice, do this or do this, but it's not clear. The second one clearly wasn't necessary. Anyhow, it should be installing. Yep, it's downloading, doing stuff, and successfully installed. Oh, okay, it installed a bunch of stuff. It appears to be done. Okay. To set up your server, I recommend setting up a place for your Docker containers as per our Docker related conventions. Sure. Now, by domain name, do they mean the... Yeah, they must mean the whole domain name. That's what I'll do. I'll use that, because you can put periods into file names, obviously. So eadcm.mooc.ca, and again home data. Oh yeah, home data and home Docker. eadcm.mooc.ca. All right, so we're making a couple of directories here, and home Docker. All right, and that's a directory. Good. Okay, step 2 done, and we'll keep going for another half hour or so and see how far we can get. Okay, step 3, configure your domain. Set up the Nginx reverse proxy. All right, it's a website intermediary. It accepts requests from the internet like a normal web server would, but instead of having direct access to the data being requested, in turn, it makes a request from another web server, either on the same host or a different one, and passes the results back to the requester. So in this case, the Nginx instance on the host is making a request of a different host that happens to reside on the same host instance as sort of a virtual server, or more precisely a ch-rooted environment, aka a container, which you could have just said, right? So the Nginx handles requests, sends them to a container, the container gives us back the results, and it sends them off to the user. Alright, so our convention is to create an Nginx reverse proxy configuration file with the same name as our domain name, so that in the case of, say, our course WordPress multi-site, the file would be, and we get the file name there. Create a file in your Nginx domain, again replacing with your own values. Alright, so Nginx site's available. I wonder if that domain or that directory already exists. Let's find out. cd etc Nginx sites available. Now that should have been created when Nginx was installed. Yeah. And just the default is what's available. But now create a file and replace it with your own. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create a file in that directory with our domain name. So let's do that. And we're creating it by editing it in Nano. So eadcm.mooc.ca. All right, and then copy and paste this in. And we'll have a look at this. Ooh, lots of stuff. Wow, okay. Copy. And we'll paste this in. Alright, look at all that stuff. Listen to the port to listen to location, etc., etc. Okay. Okay, having created that file. Okay, so Control X to exit and save. Yes. All right. So now we can see there's the file that we've just created. Okay. Now we're going to install OpenSSL tools. All right. OpenSSL. This is pretty interesting, actually. The only real problem here is with the mail, but okay. Okay, so installing OpenSSL by running. Warning, this can take a long time. The system needs to generate sufficient entropy to achieve acceptable randomness. Okay, so we've installed OpenSSL and let's get ready for this to take some time. But hey, this is all new to me. I haven't tried to do this before. Alright, this is going to take a long time. I wonder how long a long time is. So, what can we talk about, seeing as I'm doing a live video? Well, while we're waiting, let's see if anybody's actually watching our live video. Console disconnected. Well, that's annoying. Is it still doing it? Did I disconnect it? Anyhow, let's see if anyone's watching. Concurrent viewers. Oh, well, the average view time is up to 53 seconds. I guess people had issues with the echoey sound at the start. And I don't blame them, really. So I may want to actually just even remove that so that, yeah. Okay. But now, oh, I have new mail. Oh, undelivered. Return to sender. Your message could not be delivered. Yeah. All right, and that's all of them. Okay. But at least it tried. All right, so let's put this back here. So should anybody actually join the stream, I can see their chat. And let's try this again. Oh, Control C to exit. All right. Paste. So, I wonder if it'll pop out of the thing again. That would be kind of a weird blocking sort of effect if it was not possible to run this command in this console window. And then I would have to figure out how to directly access it with SSH. But it looks like this is going to be doing its thing here. It's already lasted longer than it did last time, so must have been just something I did. I have no idea. So, boy, I hope it doesn't have to make 4,096 of those plus marks. That would take a long time. Well, let's move this over here. Just moving it to the other window so I can keep an eye on it. But, so next would be to set up Let's Encrypt, and then after that to actually get the WordPress code, etc. So it's still processing away there. So I do wonder how long they mean by long. When it's done, you should see a file somewhere. Okay. Nice. It's a certificate in the etc SSL directory. It's still doing its thing there. Taking, as advertised, a long time. Let's go back upstairs here to the email while we're letting it do its thing, and I'll just sort of put it over here so you can see it's still running. So okay, so how to configure your server to use Postfix using your authenticating SMTP details. All right. You need access. Okay. You need access to a server somewhere on the internet that provides SMTP service. Okay. At OERu, we use the Docker-based installation of FOSS MailCal to provide our organizational email services. So, community support. See, the big problem with this is I don't know what it does. It's a thing, MailCal, but I don't know what it does. They're asking me for money and they still haven't told me what it does. Prerequisites, prepare your system. So yeah, do not try to install MailCal on a whole bunch of these things. MailCal requires ports to be open. Okay. System resources. Usage examples. Default ports, etc. Okay. Yes. Installation. Install Docker. Install Docker Compose. Well, this is much better than the instructions provided here. Docker Compose. MailCal requires the latest version of Docker Compose. Package managers likely won't give you the latest version. This command, okay, so getting it from the repository. That might be why he's using Python and pip and such. Might be. Enable him. Okay. MailCal host name, whatever it is. Models. Certain hashing trouble. Still don't know what it does. MailCal. I guess that's the home page. Wikipedia usually tells me what things are. But this one doesn't. Okay. MailCal is a mail server suite based on Dovecot, Postfix, and other open source software that provides a modern web UI for user-server administration. So, I guess I would have to set up a completely separate website for MailCal. Let's come back. Let's go back. All the way back. To send email, you need Okay. They can offer full service email for any number of domains, etc. Okay, so assuming we have a MailCal server or functionally equivalent SMTP service available, we have the option of authenticated SMTP for outgoing email using credentials that we can set up. For example, in MailCal, we can specify a domain we host, like OERu.org, and for which we've defined an MX record and a few other relevant records. And on top of that, we can specify a mailbox for a dedicated send stuff from remote relay hosts email address using that domain, like SMTP at OERu.org with a strong password. With that, we can securely send email using the email address as the username and password from anywhere we have access to the internet. Okay. The tricky part is we have to ensure that whatever reply to email address we specify from our applications is using a domain we also host on the same server, and that there's an email address of that email address defined and set. If we haven't made sure of that, our mail server is likely to reject sending emails with the mismatching email address. It's a basic spam deterrence method. Yeah. Once you've got that, and it's easy once you've done it once or twice, I'm mostly writing this down so I don't have to remember this every time. We can set up any server we control to send secure and spam filter resistant email. Yeah. And that's the problem with email right now in the world generally, is that so much email is blocked. All right. First, okay, so let's see. Yeah, I see. Internet site with smart host. Now I get it. So when I installed this backup, it asked me to install Postfix, and there I should have selected internet site with smart host. The smart host is the mail cow thing, I guess. And it authenticates the SMTP for me. Yeah. So basically, the smart host is something that other sites won't reject automatically as spam. But I have to send my email through the smart host, which means the smart host needs to have one of these domains, and I need to set it up so that the smart host won't reject me using it as a way of relaying it. Now, I use Google Mail, and I don't think Google Mail will allow me to use it as a smart host. But let's see what it says. To set up a smart host. Route outgoing non-Gmail messages through Gmail or through Google. Okay. So this is something that other people can use, that if you're not OERu, maybe. So turn on comprehensive mail storage. Alright, so let's do that. It's something that is or was depreciated. I don't know. Okay. In your Google admin console, admin.google.com. Verify it's me. And type my password. I have no idea whether any of this will work again. Okay, so for those of you who are wondering, I've previously set up, it was back, it used to be, I don't know what it was called, Google for Enterprise or Google for Companies or whatever, but basically I got a Google Workspace. I think you can still set these up, but I'm not sure. All right, so I'm still trying to, comprehensive mail storage applies only to core Google Workplace services. Okay. So go to Google Workspace Gmail compliance. Google Workspace Gmail compliance. No, I don't think so. Don't think that's it. Google Workspace. Google Workspace Gmail compliance. Okay. Comprehensive mail storage. Ensure that a copy of all sent and received mail is stored in associated users' mailboxes. Turning it on. All right, save. And in fact, okay, so I think I'm saving this for downs only. Notice that thing on the side there is still going. I only have about 15 more minutes in this. I guess it is going to do 4,000 of those pluses. All right. Bottom, click save. Was this helpful? Yes, it was. All right. So I've done that. Turned on comprehensive mail storage. Review sending limits. Okay, yeah, that's probably a good idea. 10,000. Okay, we're not going to do more than 10,000 unique recipients in a 24-hour period. This message count. Okay. So let's hope that I don't need to send more than 10,000 email limits. 10,000 unique recipients. So that's worth noting. That's an upper limit to what I can send in 24 hours. I'm sure I won't need more. And there's an upper limit to the total. Denial service limits. Okay. Route step 1. Alright. So that was all before I begin. Step 1. Route outbound mail using the SMTP relay service. So when you go to go to Google's Workspace Gmail routing. Gmail routing, or routing if you don't live in the Ottawa Valley. All right. On the left, select the top level organization. I only have one top level organization. It's downs.ca. I might have to make another top level organization, maybe for mooc.ca. We'll see. Okay. Scroll to the SMTP relay service in the routing section, hover, and click Configure. Selected relay. Oh yeah, here we go. There is no hovering happening, so I'll click Configure. Required, a short description that will appear within the settings summary. Alright. Email for the MOOC. Only addresses in my domains. Any address. Not recommended, but I have to because I'm on a different domain. Only accept mail from the specified IP address and require SMTP authentication and maybe encryption. So let's only accept email from here. Excuse me. Okay. So let's add. So DigitalOcean. MOOC website. And we'll save. And should that be okay? Yeah. I think we're all right. Okay. Enter the description. Okay, for the any address, you must configure your mail server either to use SMTP auth or to present one of your domain names in the hello or elo command. Yeah, I don't care if it changes it to my domain. All right. Maybe I need to use SMTP authentication. I don't know. All right. Okay, we've gotten that far. Click Save. Encryption. Click Save. All right. Point your on-premise outbound server to Google. Okay. Configure your on-premise outbound email server to point to SMTP relay.google.com. Click your server below for instructions. SendMail. Add the following line to this file. All right. So we can't do it at the moment. That might actually work. We'll see. I might just define mooc.ca as a domain I own in Google, because it is a domain I own in Google. It's just I don't know if I want Google managing it, but yeah. Okay, save. Let's go back to home. Manage domains, add a domain. Domain name. I just want it to be mooc.ca. Select a domain type. No, it's a primary domain. Okay. Add the domain and start verification. All right. So what do I need to do to verify this? Right. We need to do a quick check to make sure you own the domain. TXT verification. Add a verification code to your domain settings. We'll verify that you added the code. Okay, so that's what we'll do. I've already done this. So we need to add a TXT record to my domain settings. So I'm going to copy that. And now we're going to go into Reclaim. We're going to go into, I've logged out. All right, so autofill, log in, and I'm going to go into cPanel. And I'm going to go into Zone Editor. And for MOOC, I'm going to create a TXT record, just like these. See? So, add record, valid zone name, www.mooc.ca, period, which is kind of weird, type TXT, and we'll put the text in here, and we'll save the record. And it says failed. Why did it fail? All right, so we'll have to go to support. Okay. Oops. No, I just want to send the message. What's the problem? There we go. Get in touch. Don't like bots, especially when the bots don't do anything. All right. Oh, it finished. Check that out. It's done. Okay, so we can go back to that. So, good thing, because the other thing had kind of stopped on us. All right, so let's go back to where we were. That's too far. All right, so we did something that took a long time. And it was down here. Oops, too far. Okay. Okay, there we go. We did that, so we should see that there's a file there. And let's check it just to be sure. Oh, can't imagine it's not there. It's there. All right. And it's readable. Now what? Set up Let's Encrypt. So here's the, they've already written a guide, but here are the relevant details. So let's stay here until we have to. So first we have to make a directory. So, okay. Let's narrow this so I can work with both of these at once here. All right, let's narrow this a bit. Okay, so let's make that directory. etc nginx includes. All right, edit the following file. So let's encrypt.conf. It's a configuration file, therefore, and we'll put this content in it. Rule for legitimate ACE challenge requests. Don't know what, oh, Acme challenge request. Don't know what an Acme challenge request is, but we'll put this in. Paste. Okay. All right. So I guess we save this. Yes. All right. Next, let's make sure your designated Let's Encrypt directory exists. You only need to do this once for a given host. All right. So we'll make the directory. That's a web directory. And now we'll make nginx aware of my configuration. Okay, and remember, okay, so the domain name, we have to put this in here. Ethics Analytics Duty of Care mooc.mooc.ca. And then make sure it's happy with the configuration syntax. Should be. This is clearly a test. Paste. Invalid number of arguments in root directive. In here. Huh. the test has failed. And fix any typos that may have crept in. I copied and pasted the entire way. Okay, let's see. It says line 11, so let's paste. So let's open this file up and look at not line 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. EA. He didn't mention that we need to edit this stuff, so that should probably be back in the instructions back there. Mooc.mooc.ca, and it's going to be the same here as well. So I'm just copying that and then I'll paste it here. Oops. Oh. Let's try that again. Uh-oh. Open anyways? Yes. So I kind of messed that up. Okay, server name. Let's try not to copy and paste it. Nano. I think we've now learned it doesn't work. Ethics analyst duty of care mooc.mooc.ca, and I'll just type it again. Ethics analyst duty of care mooc.mooc.ca. All right, Control X, Control yes. All right. Now let's test and see if it likes that better. Nope. Unknown log format name access log. Okay, it's pretty much the same sort of problem. Line 16. Yeah. So, yeah, I needed to change this everywhere. Redirect all traffic to HTTPS. And I think that's all of them. No, there's more here. Oh, there's even more. Now, see, if I had been smart, I would have done a search and replace on all of these. Our lawnmower happy next door neighbor is mowing the lawn. All right, I think that's it. Yeah, okay. Control X. Yes. Enter. All right, now let's see if it works. Nope. Invalid port and upstream. Because it just says port. I'm just going to say 80, port 80. I have to find this. I don't know where it is. There it is. Because always pick 80 unless you have a good reason not to pick 80. Yes. Let's try it again. Yes, successful. Okay. So back in these instructions up above here, did he tell me I needed to change all of this stuff in? Yeah, replacing the values with your own values. Copy, and then copy and paste this in. And again, he should have said, right, change domain name to your value and also change the port to something. Okay. And if Nginx is happy, reload the configuration file to put it into effect. Actually, that's exactly what we're doing. So reload. All right. Now, if you point to the domain name, it should go to the domain name. Let's try that. It might work. So mooc.mooc.ca. Potential security risk. Yeah, because Let's Encrypt isn't running yet. Accept the risk and continue. This page isn't redirecting properly. All right. Well, I don't know why, but I mean, it doesn't really have any other place to it's redirecting to itself is what it's doing. I'm pretty sure. So that's not it. Where'd it go? Did I close? No, I didn't close it, but I don't know where it went. Here we go. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, I see. HTTP to it should redirect to HTTPS. So, what did I try to do? Right, HTTPS. So let's do that. Right. So it definitely went to HTTPS. So, okay, fine. But there are still errors. Okay. All right. Get the code. CD home data domain name. CD home data. All right. Now we're going to use wget instead of curl. Okay. Hope that works. Should work. Yep, there it is. And now we're going to extract and save all the code. So we're extracting, and you see it saved it all to a WordPress directory. After this, you should find a directory source in your directory. There it is, okay, which will contain the default source code for WordPress. Next, we have to make sure the default theme is in place. All right, so let's get the OERu theme. So we'll go into that directory and we'll issue a git clone. Now he hasn't checked to make sure that git is installed yet, right? So this might not work. Nope, it works. Okay, good. Sometimes git is not installed, so that can create an issue for you. But not in this case. Alright, so then it's time to customize the WordPress configuration. You need your password for Redis and a set of WordPress. Well, we never created a password for Redis. In fact, we never installed Redis, did we? We're using MySQL. Unless it was part of... Oh, well, that's very confusing. Don't use these, generate your own. Yeah, sure. So you can use this link to generate a set that are suitable for copying and pasting. Alright, good enough. Copy, and we'll back up. So where's this going? It's going somewhere. wp-config.php ls. It's not here. Where is it going to be? Where is Where is wp config? Where could it possibly be? Let's go back to my original directory. Would have been nice if he'd told me where it is. What's it called again? WP config. Maybe it's in WP admin. WP config sample. Or maybe we're creating it. In this directory. I bet you we create it in this directory, don't we? I don't know. It just doesn't say. PHP file, isn't it? Yeah. And looks like it's in WP includes. Try that again. List the files. No. No, it's not in that directory. It's in the same place as index.php or WP mail. Yeah, it goes in this top level directory. All right, good enough. So this is what it should look like. All right, so let's nano WP config .php. So we'll copy all of this. I think we've got everything. Yeah. Copy. Paste. And now we need to regenerate those values. Now let's see. So auth key. Where are all these going to be? Yeah, this is just wrong. This is wrong. Whoops. Can't do find in here, can I? See, I don't see anywhere in here like auth key, secure auth key. And this looks like a file for MySQL and not Redis, which is a completely different database. So where do they go? Replacing the relevant values, token values, with your versions. Let's see if I can't find it here. So let's look for nonce key. Control F, nonce key. All right, so there it is. And that's the only place it appears. So this is wrong. All right, well, so let's just X out of here. And let's have a look at the sample. Let's just nano into it. WP config sample.php. Ah, crap. Oh, okay. Maple. Getting tired, can you tell? Yeah, this is... There they are. But they don't appear here. Authentication of unique keys and salts. Right, okay. So we have to put them right there. Boy, that's really opaque. Man, oh man. Okay, so let's open up this. And I think I still have it copied. There, WordPress keys and salts. So let's, oops, X, stopped, right, okay. I broke it. C, Control X, no. All right. Did I just wipe out WP config? Oh, it looks like I did. Oh, I see. All right. Come down here. WordPress keys and salts, which is what I was trying to. All right. Oops. Wipe that out. And paste in. Oops. Oh, I see. Control Z just pops me right out. Okay. So I have to go back and create these things again. This link. Copy. Edit. Copy. So don't use Control Z when you're editing Nano in Nano. Because it doesn't work. It suspends your process or something. All right. Get that. Now, right click, paste. All right. Control X. Save it. All right. Okay. Now, I still have my doubts as to whether that'll work, but okay, we've passed this step and set up Docker Compose. All right. So, nano Docker Compose YML. Oh, let's go to home. First of all, we have to go to home Docker domain name. We're almost done, right? So, cd home Docker all right, and now nano Docker Compose. So Docker Compose is a file that defines all the containers that we're going to use. The Redis, which is the database, PHP, which will run the application, Nginx, which is a server, and cron, which will run our cron. So, paste that in here. Control, do I, yes, yes, look at this. And replacing the tokens as usual. I wonder if there's a, oh, how annoying. All right, let's X and not save this. Let's pop into Note tab. I'm just going to save a little time here. File, new. Control V. Now, for every instance of this, search, replace with sounds media care mooc.mooc.ca. And no, I don't want regular, it's just standard. So find domain name. Okay, we'll replace it with that. Standard, not all documents, but replace all. 9. Okay. Looks good. All right, we'll copy this. We'll go back in, edit that file, and paste. And see, that's the way to do that sort of thing. Okay, Control X, Y, and saved. All right, so I don't need to save. So that's how you do a mass, Oh, and required Redis password. Did I have a Redis password above? No. Database password. So there's a bunch of stuff. All right. SMTP password. We never set up SMTP. Volumes, home, data, domain name. Yeah, there's, oh right, I already did that. Domain name, SMTP host, SMTP password. Yeah, so see, I never set up SMTP in this, so some of this might break. Okay. Launch containers. Okay, let's see what happens. Invalid services engine exports contains an invalid type. So let's go in here, services engine exports. Oh, what? Why? Always use 80 unless. Okay. All right, let's try it again. All right. Always use 80 unless you have a reason not to use 80. So what it's doing now is it's pulling these containers from Docker. Okay, so they will run until I explicitly stop them. So what should happen now is I should automatically be redirected to the WordPress site install script with all the database details already entered. I'll believe that when I see it. We're getting there. Of course, this compose might still fail. Cannot start Nginx. Why? Error starting userland proxy. Find address already in use. All right. That's a good reason not to use 80. So let's use 8080. Now we'll try this again. It's a lot faster the second time. Nope. Reading the configuration file, wrong number of arguments. Yeah, so it's looking for a Redis password. And I don't have a Redis password. Oh. I didn't do that. Oh, that's cron running. All right. Let's see what happens if I try the address. Try again. No. Okay. Well, what happens if I just try the the numerical address? The welcome to Nginx. So I don't know. Too many errors. It's not clear enough, or I'm too stupid. But I'm not stupid, right? So there's confusion here about WordPress and Redis, and I never did install Redis and set up passwords for it. So I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. So I'm going to call it there's probably just something simple that I'm missing. Well, I know what I'm missing. I'm missing a bunch of things. See, it's funny because the cron is actually producing a page for me. Error establishing a database connection. Yeah. But I never installed Redis, never gave it a password. Do I need to install Redis here? Did I skip a step? Let's go all the way back to the top. Control F, Redis. Oops. Redis. You'll need your password, but you see, we've never installed it. And that's why it doesn't show up anywhere. So something's weird here. I installed MySQL but never used it, and I need Redis. So okay, so I'll write to them and try to figure out what the story is. But in the meantime, I'm just going to call this a fail. So many of my Stephen Follows instructions end this way. And we've done it again, folks. So we'll call it a fail after, well, an hour and a half plus 2 hours and 15 minutes. So 3 hours and 45 minutes of work, and I've been unable to install it. But it was pretty good exploration, and yeah. All right, so I'm going to end the stream here, and thanks for listening and watching, and I hope you found this interesting. Bye.